everyone, and welcome once again to the Rancher in Stilettos presents Cocktails and Conversations. I am Marsha Williams Cromer, and I am so excited today to introduce you to my guest, Rowena Winfrey. Well, Rowena is a great friend and member of my book club, and she has always been such a huge supporter of the books, and I just wanted to bring her on to chat and have a drink or two while we're chatting about the Rancher in Stilettos. Hey, Rowena.
Marsha, how are you?
I am so excited. I'm great. I'm glad to have you on the show. And of course, we have to start with a toast.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go. Your drink of choice, my drink of choice. Okay. Mm.
And for those of you wondering at home, that's cherry Kool-Aid, so don't worry about the size of the bottle.
I know that's a little hefty to have alcohol in it. That is for sure. It's so good to get a chance to talk to you. Talk to me about why you fell in love and you're a rancher now. You love the Rancher in Stilettos.
Well, first of all, I was born in Texas, so in a small town. So that kind of makes me a rancher at heart, even though I never actually lived on a ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And you told us the title of your book, I thought, because my mother was a devotee of stilettos. The woman was 5'11" in her stocking feet and wore 4 and 5-inch stiletto heels.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, this is
I totally relate. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when the first book came out, I first started to have you examined for stalking because I could have sworn I knew those 6 friends.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it was so, because I was like, this is this person, and this is that person, and this is this person. And so then I was trying to decide, okay, which one am I? And I decided I'm more like Charmaine. I'm the bossy type. Okay. But I also have a little bit of Zadie in me. And Zadie's name, it was so funny. When the first book came out, 2 friends of mine and I are still debating that woman's name.
Okay, it's Zaid.
It's Zaid.
Zaid, uh-huh.
See, I thought it was Zadie because of the AID. And I thought, okay, it's either 1 syllable or 2. But I decided it was Zadie. But I have to tell my friend Cheryl she's right. She said Zaid.
Okay, yeah, it's Zaid.
And one of them got real dramatic and said, no, she's been all over the place. It's Zaide.
So put an accent on the end.
Put an accent on the end.
Okay.
But the important thing is that they read the book and we all loved it and discussed among ourselves how cool it was that friends could get together and do something like that. I mean, how often do you see a group of friends, first of all, that have been friends forever,
right,
and then decide to go into business together and actually make it work?
Right, exactly.
But I think the thing I loved most about Zaid is that she was a combination. She was the heart-driven executive businesswoman, and she was the let me get my behind on a horse and ride off in the sunset rancher. And I just loved that about her.
And you notice that as she transitions in the first book, she literally shows up on the ranch wearing, 6-inch Louis Vuittons.
Yeah.
And her ranch hand is looking at her like, who are you? What are you doing? Who rides in heels? So she had to kind of come back into her ranch lifestyle, from her New York lifestyle. But once she got there, she was buying those boots, girl. She was loving it. Yes.
Oh, yeah. But the thing that impressed me so about her is that in spite of her hard-driven personality, she cared so much about her friends.
Yeah.
That's why it blew me away in the last book. When she and Charmaine got into it, I was like, what?
I know.
I can't believe these 2 are arguing.
And they're best friends, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it even harder because you know how in real life we're having conversations with people that we love and care about, and then somebody hits a nerve at the wrong time, and the timing was, Zayd is getting married, planning her wedding. Charmaine, who has been married, is now divorced, but she has, a guy friend that she is interested in who can wine and dine her. And somehow it almost comes to a place where they're competing. Zayd doesn't realize that there's a competition, but somehow it comes to fruition that there's been some kind of resentment there for a while.
Yeah,
because it really came to a head.
And I want to tell you, of all three books, my only disappointment is that she did not end up marrying the ranch hand. I thought they were perfect for each other.
No, they were family.
Yeah, but that's who you marry. Somebody who's like your family.
No. And you remember our friend Rowena got on me about the fact that he needed his own woman in his life. So I gave him a woman and named her Rowena. And I'm like, she's like, you could have named her anything. And I was like, you're the one who complained about it. So it makes sense.
That's what she gets for jumping into your business.
Exactly.
She ends up in a book.
She's a mess. In fact, she and I talked for the last show, and she's still tripping on it just a little bit, but she'll get over it. Yeah.
But, well, you're not the only author. Brian W. Smith put her in as a character in, I want to say, book club, his book club.
Yeah.
So I said, see, you talk to these people, you end up getting put in prison.
I know. So let's go back to like the first book. What did you feel about the two main relationships that Zayd had? One was Corey, the financier for their business, and then the other was the former
Lane
lover, which is Lane.
Yeah. I was not crazy about Lane from the beginning. Actually, I wasn't crazy about Corey either. Mm-hmm. But of the two of them, Corey to me seemed more trustworthy and reliable. Lane to me was always a player. I mean, he was devoted to Zayd, but in the back of my mind, I was like, he's going to break her heart.
He already had, remember?
I know.
Yeah. So, and then Corey comes along, treating her like this queen that she is. But at the same time, he's got issues around control, I think would be, so, but the way he tries to control the situations that they face is with his money, throw some money at the problem. And, and he basically does that not just for her, but for her friends or anyone who matters to her.
Yeah. And, people have to realize that, it's wonderful to have money. I wish I had more of it, but you can't buy happiness with money.
Right.
It has to be from within. Otherwise, it's just, a moot point. So, start off my week.
Understood. So a couple of other questions for you.
Okay.
Of the dreamers, you said you feel more like Charmaine. You relate to her.
Yeah.
What about the other girls? Do you have any kind of feelings around them? Is there another one that you felt was interesting?
Dolores is the one with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dolores, I kind of related to too, because of all my friends. Mm-hmm. I was the first one to be raising children. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, they wanted to do this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, I got to see if I can find babysitters. And, y'all might have to count me out. So I could relate to her in that sense. And wasn't she also taking care of her mother?
Yes, you're right. Yeah. In the first book, her mother is ill, and her mother actually ends up passes
away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And see, I was taking care of my mother at one point when she had cancer. So I could relate to Dolores on those double fronts, from the standpoint of being a child, a mother, and a child caregiver. because at
Right.
one point in my life, I was both.
Right.
And then
Right.
the other girls kind of like, you know, different things that they did. I'd say, well, yeah, I can understand that, or I can relate to that. But like I said, no matter which character I was reading about, it was like, oh, okay, that reminds me of. And then I think of a friend that I would put in that spot. And it's just, it was so fascinating to me because it was like, okay, we never did anything like this, but we could have been the dreamers and we could have had dream circles.
Right, right. And didn't you like the concept also of the dream circles, like which that was really, you know, when things got really tough or something was going down and they all needed to be face to face to confer. You know, that's one of the things that my real dreamers do. But at the same time, you know, if someone is ill in the family, it doesn't matter which family it is, we all do rally around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's something that, you know, I think girlfriends have more permission to do. I think guys want to do those things and that they are that way and they care. They just don't talk about it as much because they don't really talk about their feelings as much as we do.
Well, see, I was talking with a guy that I used to date long time ago, and we came to figure out that guys have friendships, women have sisterhoods.
Yes.
Now, you get so close to this group of women and you know what they're thinking, even though they're not saying it.
Oh my God, it's so
Are
true.
that close? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guys don't get that deep into their friendships. I mean, yeah, they may have been friends with this guy since the cradle, but they don't really get in depth with their friendships the way we women do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the way the dreamers were, you know, they practically knew what each other was having for breakfast because they knew each other that well.
Yeah. So you've written some really amazing reviews. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
But I
welcome.
want to know, when you were writing those reviews, was it right after you read a book and it was still fresh on your mind? And, you know, just kind of your thought process around
Yeah,
that.
because if I don't write a review immediately, it's like stuff fades away and I say, oh, I meant to say this and I forgot. So what I usually do is as I'm reading a book, I have a little notepad and I'll jot this down and I'll jot that down. And then when I'm ready to actually write the review, I say, okay, I'm going to add this point and leave that one out and whatever. But it's like things that occurred to me during the book, so I don't have to go back and reread it. And if I can't write a review immediately, I reread the book.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
have to have that impression in my mind in order to write a review. And I also have to really like the book because I have given books 4 stars and not written a review. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's worth you picking up, but it didn't just wow me to the point that I want to tell you about.
Right, right. Oh, thank you. That really makes me happy, and I love hearing from readers who, on a personal level, respond to the characters and the narrative and the storyline. So when the second book ends, the first book ends on a cliff note. You guys kind of knew something's got to. This can't be the last book. Something else has to come
Matter of
back.
fact, I told you in book club, this better not be the last book or you're in trouble.
I know, I know. But second book drops, okay. And I did try to put somewhat of a bow on the end of it because I wasn't sure if I was up to another book. And then by popular request, I decided to write the final book in the Ranch and Stilettos series. Did it end like you wanted it to?
My mouth stayed open for 20 minutes. After I finished the last page, I was like, what? She did what? And I mean, I knew in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, she's not going to make it to the hour with Corey. But the way she left him and who she left him for, I called up my girlfriends because we all read the third book together. That
Okay.
was their birthday gift to me because they gave me an Amazon gift card.
Oh,
So I
wonderful.
returned because I had gotten one an Amazon gift card gifted them with your book. So we were all reading it together. And my friend Cheryl, the one that guessed Zay's name right, she said, "Can you believe this crap?" Yes, that. And we were just floored because I was like, I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
But I love the way it ended because it left the door open for a potential book 4.
You know what? Oh, no. I won't say that there won't be a book 4, but it won't be the Ranch and Stilettos.
Well, you can always do Zay's story on its own. That's enough to keep you interested.
Exactly. We'll see. I'm still mulling it over.
But I'm telling you, like I told Beverly Jenkins, when she first started the Blessing series, she had it in her mind she was going to do 4 books, period. She's now about to write book. Well, she's in the process of writing book 13, and we're still going, we want more.
Oh my God.
Because she keeps adding characters, and we want to know, what's going to happen to this character and what's going to happen to this character. So if she writes till the day she dies, we'll never be tired of those Blessings books because the characters are interesting. And that's the way it is with your books, because even though there's only 6 characters, you come to care about those characters and you want to know, what happened to them down the road? Did this person do this? Did that person do that? Did Charmaine marry her sugar daddy? That type of thing. So you want to know. And sometimes if we're blessed, the author will take pity on us and write the book that tells us what we need to know. And in other situations, you just have to use your imagination.
Well, I do hear you, Rowena. I hear you loud and clear. And I will not disappoint my readers because I do feel that there is more story. I just don't know how I'm going to approach it just yet. We'll see. Listen, I cannot thank you enough for joining me on this call, and salute to the Rancher Stilettos with our drinks. Cheers. You're adorable, and you're literally one of my first fans, so I will never forget that. I appreciate and adore you so much. Thank you very much.
I love your books, and as long as you're writing, I will be reading. And if my Kindle Fire, I said if Amazon ever stops making Kindle Fires, they might as well put me away.
No, not gonna happen. You're too much of an avid reader. You couldn't live without that.
Yeah, matter of fact, Rowena and I all through the summer, what are you reading this week? What are you reading this week? Because I can't stop reading. It's like I was telling my coworkers, I have my Kindle out at my desk. And I work in a call center, so between calls, I'm reading.
Right.
And they say, "Do you ever get tired of reading?" I said, "Do you ever get tired of breathing?"
Okay.
No, I said, it's the same for me in reading.
Oh, you know what?
I've been reading since I was 3, Marcia, 60 years this year.
I love it.
So I will keep reading until the day my eyes can no longer see.
Well, I appreciate that. My books are books that you actually appreciate and love reading. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about it.
Well, thank you for having me. And I hope that this chat has inspired you to put pen to paper and give us something we can look forward to next year.
Thank you, my dear. And that the word will be coming soon.
Good. I'll be looking for it.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
My pleasure. God bless.
Thank you.